to Ridiculous. I hope you're doing well wherever you're in the world. I hope you're living your best life. Part 11. Well, it looks like I'll have to move in with my parents for now and just get used to living here. I thought maybe my husband and I could coexist in one house and just stay away from each other for a short time until I could line up my own place to live. I guess that isn't the wisest thing to do at this point, considering what happened last time. The drinking, the cat, all that. So it would have been great if I could live with him so I could afford to go rent a place on my own, but it's probably not good to rush. Eventually, I'll have to go pack up everything that's mine. Not to mention figuring out everything that is shared between us. It will be a huge multi-day task to pack everything. I'm going to try not to worry about it right now. According to a lot of advice I received, I shouldn't contact either man right now, and I should definitely have no further contact with my husband other than through divorce attorneys. I'm still in contact with both of them. The last time that I saw my husband was yesterday. I haven't seen the other man in several days. I told him he needs to take some time to process all of this to decide if what he says is actually what he wants, and we need to talk about it some more. We both need to get our affairs, no pun intended, in order. I do want to see him, and I also want to have with him. He's not the only one feeling that way, but I suppose there's this huge part of me that just feels like I have a 50-pound knot in my stomach now, that our secret is exposed, and I almost don't want to see him right now because of it. I am feeling a lot of guilt right now and starting to realize how much I've screwed up. I'm still employed. I'm working from home due to COVID. Well, now I'm working from my parents' house, and it's just a matter of finding a spot to set up what I need. At my house, we set up an office for both of us to share since we've both been working from home since last spring. I cannot go on like this long term at my parents' house, especially since my mom is retired and home all day. I love her, but I think we will drive each other crazy eventually. I want to get my own place to live, but I realize there's no need to do it tomorrow. I tend to rush things. My parents told me maybe I should consider staying with them until after I'm due because I'm probably going to need the help. And what if there are complications, and what if I get put on bed rest? I didn't envision living with my parents that long. My little sister, who is 20 years old, lives here, but she spends most of her time at her boyfriend's. I would of course contribute to the household bills and probably make my parents accept some sort of rent from me, although they won't make me do that. If I stay here longer, maybe it'll give me and the other man time to figure out what we're going to do. Maybe we will move in together. I'm not sure what will happen. The other man said that he was going to divorce his wife. We just never seriously talked about leaving our spouses to be together until now. So that's why I can't fully believe that he'll follow through. I think I would have an easier time believing it and jumping right into it if it's something we had talked about before. He says he's happy about the pregnancy and wants it to be with me, and that he's in love with me. I mean, even I'm having a hard time believing that he truly feels that way, which is why I think we might need some space just to figure things out. I haven't announced my pregnancy to anyone other than the father. There's a 6-month waiting period for divorce to be finalized here where I live, so even though there's no pregnancy involved on that end that we know of, my husband will have to wait 6 months. At first, the other man just really wanted to see me and was upset that I wouldn't go see him and be with him since nothing was really stopping us now. But after I explained I'm stressed out and scared and just want to do everything carefully, he agreed to give me some space and for us to work out our individual sides to get whatever we needed to do taken care of. Since there's a 6-month wait period for divorce, he's considering filing for a legal separation in the meantime. This is mainly because he has a daughter involved and wants to be sure there is a court-ordered custody visitation plan in place so that he doesn't have to worry about his wife trying to keep his daughter from him during the 6-month wait period for divorce. For him, I think the divorce process will be a lot more complicated since there's a child, and based on what he's told me, I'm sure his wife is going to try to get all of the financial support she can from him. I can't really blame her, especially given all of the other circumstances. She is educated and had a career before they got married, but then she decided she didn't want to go back to work after their baby was born. So now she's going to have to go back to work, but she can probably delay it if she's able to get enough in alimony. He talked her into letting him temporarily come back home for their daughter's sake. She banned him from seeing or speaking to me, but he still speaks to me. He said he is planning to move out, but he just has to get his finances in order since he's about to take a huge financial hit. He is going to to let her keep the house if she wants it, and figures he'll be paying for it for quite some time, but doesn't want his daughter to have to move. As soon as he moves out of the house, he's going to file for the separation. So now that he's back home, I can say I'm a little nervous, but I'm trying not to get in the way. He has to make his decisions and I will have to live with it. I don't know everything he's told her or not told her since I'm not there, and I obviously can only get his side of the story. He said he asked her to let him come back to the house so things would be less awkward for their daughter. He tells me that he told her he's going to move out but continue to pay all of their household bills for her for now. But until he can get all of that arranged, he won't be allowed to come home. She said she was only allowing it for their daughter's sake and that he has to sleep in another room, not to touch her, and not to speak to her. But she also told him he's not allowed to see or speak to me while he's living there. He told me he never promised her that he wouldn't talk to me. She just told him that he wasn't allowed. He said we probably shouldn't meet up right now, even though he wants to. He's trying to keep things as calm as possible. He feels bad. He's told me that, and I can tell in his voice that he's starting to have guilt now. I think he's mainly thinking of legal separation so he can move out, but they can start putting things like child custody and such into play. He seems very worried about her trying to keep his daughter from him if he just moves out and doesn't get any sort of custody or visitation agreement in writing. A legal separation would allow him to do that, after which he could file for divorce and wait the official 6 months for it to be finalized. It's really only been a few days since he found out about the pregnancy. Not much time to have set up his own place to live. He just declared that he was going to leave his wife after I told him the news. He told me that he had been thinking about it for a while. I think we were both in similar situations where we have thought about leaving our spouses, but just could never actually go through with it until this event forced us to look at the options and make some sort of move. I haven't announced my pregnancy to anyone other than the father. I think he has the right to know before 12 weeks, especially considering the situation we're in. My husband, I've told him, of course, because I live or lived with him, and it probably would be pretty hard to hide it for 12 weeks, especially considering that I'm sick, I'm tired, my body is changing in slight ways, but enough for him to notice when we're having sex or if he were to see me naked. Yes, we still do have sex sometimes. Plus, I wanted to tell the father, and I didn't feel I could do that without also telling my husband. And now I've told my parents because they're my parents and I'm obviously going to need them right now. I haven't announced it to anyone else I know, and I don't plan to do so immediately. I'm not looking forward to telling anyone else because inevitably they're going to find out that my husband isn't the father, and this stuff is all going to come out one way or another. I intend to not tell most of my extended family until I can't really hide it anymore. I don't think talking about it anonymously on the internet forum is the same as announcing it in real life. There are pregnancy message boards out there where women are announcing and sharing pregnancy test pics the moment they find out. I'm well aware that something bad could happen. I've been especially worried since I was on birth control when they were conceived, which increases the risk of miscarriage. My doctor said that if the birth control were to cause a miscarriage, it probably would have done so already based on her experience. But as we all know, miscarriages can happen for all sorts of reasons or no reason at all. Some people are acting as if I'm completely delusional and can't see anything in reality or something. I'm not looking forward to having to address all of this at work. I have to discuss insurance with my husband. As far as I'm aware and what I've researched, pregnancy isn't a qualifying life event as far as health insurance is concerned. Having a baby and divorce both are. Since I can't get the divorce until after the babies are born, I have to discuss just staying on the health insurance through my husband's employer for now and just paying all of my own medical bills, as well as possibly giving him a set amount each month to go forward to go toward the amount that is automatically taken out of his pay. So this means I can at least put off discussing the switch in insurance with HR right away. I can ask for more information and just frame it like I'm considering switching insurance once the babies arrive. They don't have to know that I'm also getting divorced right now or that the babies aren't my husband's. But naturally, everyone is going to assume that my husband is the father. Luckily, we're all working from home right now, so I could physically hide it for longer than I normally normally be able to do. However, I supervise a department and they will need to figure out how to delegate my tasks when I'm on maternity leave. Who knows if I'll have to take maternity leave sooner than I would like, depending on how things go. I would rather be able to train other staff on my work than to have somebody else who doesn't know what they're doing try to train. I don't plan to tell them now, but I will have to face it sooner or later. I don't intend to offer up the information on who the father is either, and I also don't even plan to correct people when they say things under the assumption that my husband is the father. I just don't necessarily have to say anything at all in these instances, so I'm not truly lying. It really is none of their business. I don't even plan to make any sort of announcement to those at work. I will inform HR sometime after 12 weeks after I have the next ultrasound to find out if there are indeed still 2 babies and that everything looks good, etc. They may or may not leak the information to others. In the past, our HR department has been very good with keeping this sort of information confidential, as they should. I will tell my supervisor next week, but will probably wait a bit longer. Last, I will tell the staff that report to me. I have short and long-term disability insurance. I have never had to use it, so I intend to discuss that with HR. I plan to get all my ducks in a row with the paperwork, etc., so I know what to do when I need to do it. I'm also very lucky because I'm also able to take up to 4 weeks maternity disability if needed. Plus, I can get 6 weeks of paid maternity leave at a reduced salary. This all means I'm still going to have to save and budget very well if I want to be able to take all of that time off, which is an ideal thing I would like to be able to do.